Hello, everyone. So I am interviewing very special guy. He's very famous in Steam blockchain, and he's doing so much for our amazing platform. So he's Yaba Pamet, and he's the top witnesses. So hello.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
So can you spell again your name? So how we can find you in Steam blockchain?
Yeah, it's Yaba P Matt, so YABAPMATT. And if you can't remember that, it's Tampa Bay backwards.
Ah, okay, okay. So I will never forget that
There
from
you go.
now. Okay. Tell me, please, the first question that I have for you. How did you find about Steam blockchain the first time?
So I don't remember exactly, but in 2017, I was kind of really learning more about blockchain technology and what it could do beyond, Bitcoin, which I was pretty familiar with at the time. So I don't know, I was, reading articles online and I must have come across Steam, somehow in one of those searches. And I just, thought it was a cool project and signed up. Obviously at that time, I had no idea how involved I would end up becoming in the project. But yeah, I think it was nothing super exciting, but I just came across it at some point in 2017.
Did you start directly to develop things and became a witness, or it happened after a while?
No, it was a few months. So I started trying to blog. I'm not much of a blogger. I always kind of thought, oh, I should have a blog at some point. Some people I know do, and um, so I was like, all right, well now I could earn some cryptocurrency by doing it. So I wrote a few blog posts. No one really read them, and I didn't get any upvotes because I was brand new on the platform. So that's when I got into I learned about the voting bots and the promotion services and all that type of stuff. And then, that was kind of a very difficult to use thing back then. So that kind of then led into my first project of the Steam bot tracker to try to improve the promotional services on Steam.
Yeah, that's great. So what do you think about Steam blockchain, how it works?
So I think Steam, I feel like it's one of the most, if not the most undervalued blockchain platforms that there is right now. If you look at, the top 20 or so by market cap blockchains, I mean, Steam is very comparable to them by, number, actual user base, apps, transactions, like whatever kind of metric other than price you can come up with. I mean, Steam is right up there. If not a lot better than some of them, yet from a price standpoint it's quite a bit lower. So from that perspective, like it has a lot of potential that it has not realized yet. So I don't know, I'm doing what I can to help it realize that potential, and I hope to see that happen.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you see Steam in the future, maybe in a few years?
So it's hard to say, and I have to say I'm not as bullish as some of the people on the platform are. I mean, I would love to be, but realistically, I mean, price is very, very important. A lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it just matters what's happening on the blockchain. But really, um, a higher price will get more happening on the blockchain, and a lower price will end up with less happening. I know a lot of people who used to be full-time on working on Steam who can't anymore due to the low price. And if the price keeps dropping, more and more people, including myself at some point, will have to be like, well, we just can't do this anymore and get other jobs or move on to other platforms. So no matter how good things are on Steam, the price is really important. And I don't, there are some potential things that could help the price. Obviously, a real smart media token release would probably help. But all those things need to be coupled with kind of really good marketing and hype. I mean, that's just how the blockchain world works. So I feel like no matter what Steam does technically or from a development perspective, if it's not really marketed, if it's not promoted, if most people, even in the crypto space, still don't know about Steam, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Yeah, of course, we need to promote all those apps and all those the creations that we have. We have really a lot of things, and I think it's more than enough. We just have to promote them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to you and tell me please about your skills and things that you do well in your life.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, I'm a software developer. I started learning computer programming when I was like 9 or 10 years old, just because I wanted to make my own video games. Um, but professionally, before I was working full time on Steam, I kind of transitioned more into like a software development manager role. So I didn't do as much direct software development, but I was managing projects. And I think I'm actually better. I say I'm a decent developer, but I'm better overall at just, kind of managing projects, figuring out what to focus on, what not to focus on, and how to, get stuff done and out to people quickly. Which I think is a skill that lots of, especially software developers, really lack, and that's why you see a lot of software that is, it's really cool technically, but it never gets to a state where it's actually usable for regular people.
Yeah. And how did you become a witness in Steam blockchain, and why you saw like the potential in that, and what is the story about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was more so like just once it got to the point where it was clear that I was going to be very involved in Steam. I was building things on the platform. I was, very involved in the platform. I could see this was something that I was going to be doing for a while. When I do something, it's important that I really know everything that I can about it. So if you're involved on a blockchain, I mean, one of the most important things you can know about it is how to actually produce the blocks and and the consensus mechanism and how that works. So, it's still not overly expensive, but especially at the time, it was less expensive to just set up a witness server. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to go through the process of building steamd from the source code, setting it all up, seeing how it runs, all that stuff that's just an important part of really understanding a blockchain platform. And at the time, I never had any, intentions or expectations of getting into the top 20. But I just wanted to be a part of it and be involved and see how things worked. And then it kind of all just snowballed from there.
Yeah, so you was already creating before becoming a witness. I mean, you created a lot of things for Steam before to become a witness, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had only created the Steam bot tracker, and I probably also built the post promoter voting bot software. And then it was around that time, like late 2017, that I also set up the witness server.
Yeah, so we already had before like Bitbots before creating the Steam bot trackers. So what is the thing that made you create a Steam bot tracker?
Well, I mean, it was like for myself originally, because before that, bots would just post a reply comment on posts that they voted, and that's how you had to find out about them. So there's no one place to go to say like, what are all the services available? And then even if you found out about some of those services, they all worked differently. They had different weird rules, and there was no way to kind of really easily figure out what those rules were. And if you did anything wrong, you usually just lost your Steam or Steam dollars. It was just a really, really bad whole experience there. So, I thought it'd be a fun project to kind of try to organize all that information into one central location. And then obviously that became really popular. There was a number of people that had that problem in addition to myself. And then, so once I did that, then I also found there was a lot of issues with the actual voting bots themselves. Why didn't they refund people if they did something wrong, et cetera? So, I found out there was only one software package that everyone really used at that time. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe another fun project would be try to write my own, voting bot software that can add all these features that myself and a bunch of people wanted.
Yeah. So you solved the problem of promotion in Steam blockchain, I think, by creating that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I solved it completely, but I mean, it at least made it a lot more efficient and easier and just user-friendly for everybody.
And maybe more transparent to people.
Yes, definitely transparent.
Yeah, that's great. So you solved also another problem of logging in and of using Steam Connect. So can you talk about this Steam keychain? Yes.
Yeah. So it's a browser extension. It's just basically MetaMask for Steam. And this was one of those things where I just literally could not believe it didn't exist. And I mean, for one thing, like I spent a lot of time at crypto conferences and blockchain events and whatever, and I'm telling people about Steam. Unfortunately, most people don't know about it, and you know everyone's kind of used to using MetaMask or similar extensions. No one, that people like look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them on Steam you have to just put your keys in the website. And I mean, yes, you can use your posting key, obviously not for transfers, but for posting and voting. But most people don't do that. Most people just use their master password. And anyone who's like familiar with crypto and security, I mean, it's just they can't believe it. It was just, and it's a pain in the butt too. I mean, you have to always copy and paste your keys, and I've personally accidentally forgotten that I had a key in my on my clipboard and pasted it somewhere incorrect. I mean, it was just all, yeah, it was just one of those, I just couldn't believe that it didn't exist. It seemed like a relatively simple thing to do. And so I talked to, a bunch of people about, hey, could they do this? Does anyone want to build it? And no one really did. So, finally, once Steam Monsters was going and we had some extra money, we basically hired StudKev, who made the Steam Plus extension, to build this. So I wrote up a spec for it. We paid our designer to design the thing, and we paid him to build it. And I think, I'm very happy that we did that, because I think it makes things, worlds better for using Steam apps in a more secure manner.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with the security of Steam Connect. So if we talk about Steam Connect, it's still secure. It's related to the people themselves, if they like accidentally to not post the key somewhere else. So Steam Connect.
Well, that's not true. I mean, because the whole thing is, whether it's Steemit.com or Steam Connect, if someone hacks into either of those sites, right, they could add a simple one line of JavaScript that just sends all the keys pasted in there to their server. So all it takes is Steemit.com or SteamConnect.com to be hacked, and thousands of keys and master passwords would probably be stolen, in a matter of hours before probably anyone even knew that anything happened. So it's just all part of, like, putting keys in a web page is just not secure. And that's also why Steemit.com has split out, or Steemit Inc. has split out the wallet from the posting functionality on Steemit. It's because, it's not, if they're going to show ads, which are like, have third-party content, it's not secure to be putting your keys in a website. I think it's ironic that they just went from putting your keys into one website to now you just put your active keys into a different website. It doesn't have ads, so that's better. But we're really pushing Steemit Inc. really hard to integrate Keychain into Steemit.com, because at the end of the day, if Steemit.com gets hacked or Steam Connect gets hacked, they won't be able to get your keys in Keychain.
So Keychain is not working with Steam Wallet now, yes?
It's not working with Steemit.com or SteemitWallet.com, although we've been told that Eon Warped made a pull request for Condenser, which runs Steemit.com, that integrates Keychain into it, and that's all working and done. So we really just need Steemit Inc. to review and merge that pull request, and we'll do the same thing for Steemit Wallet. So I know they're busy and they have their priorities, but we're hoping to see that happen this year.
Yeah, that will be great to secure our accounts and our funds, of course, because some people are spending really a lot of time there creating and investing a lot of money, and I think Steam Keychain will really secure their accounts and their funds.
And it's just easier to use. I mean, if you've used it, especially if you have multiple accounts, you never have to worry about copying and pasting your passwords and keys around. It's just very simple.
Yeah, and the interesting fact also, I see that some D apps, they ask for the active key, not only for the posting. When I use the posting key in the Steam Connect, I am like calm. But when they ask for the active key, I am like a little bit stressed.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that Steam Connect does is they actually, like, you have to give them posting authority on your account. So it means that they have the ability to, post and vote and all that stuff, as if they were you without even having your keys. So, I mean, there was an issue with that when Utopian got hacked, about a year ago. And, I mean, it's not as bad as losing funds, but still voting power is, and, posting is reputation, and there's money involved. So yeah, it's just all around. I always hated having to use Steam Connect. I mean, I think it's a good service and it's great to have for when it's needed, but the fact that there was really no other alternative really bothered me.
Yeah, even my account was touched by that hack with Utopian because I was using Utopian, and that was awful.
Right. So with
Yeah.
Keychain, nothing that could never happen.
That's great. I just hope that they will integrate that. Maybe you will need to ask the community, or to make a pool or something like that, or maybe Steam Alliance, they can make a proposal or something like that. Maybe that will help.
Yeah. I mean, so far we've talked to Elizabeth, the new managing director, and Andrarchy, and they are all on board with doing it. It's just a matter of when. So we'll see.
That's great that they have that in their plans.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Steam Monsters. We had to talk about Steam Monsters before the keychain, but I just forget. So how did you create Steam Monsters, by the way?
Well, so, I mean, like I said, when I was a kid, I started learning computer programming just because I wanted to make my own games. So I've been a professional game developer for the last 10 or so years. I've worked on Facebook games and mobile apps and et cetera for a bunch of different companies. And, I was also a big fan of Magic the Gathering when I was a kid, and collecting those cards. I played Hearthstone later on, and it always bothered me how digital games like Hearthstone or Clash of Clans, like, you spend a bunch of money. I spent a bunch of money in those games, and you don't have anything like with, with the physical cards. You actually had collector's items that you could sell one day or whatever. But that wasn't true with digital games. So kind of as soon in 2017, as soon as I learned about, Ethereum and smart contracts and digital assets and all that stuff, I was immediately like, we got to make a trading card game, but all the cards are digital assets. And this was before I even really knew about Steam. I wanted to do this. And for a while, I even started writing a white paper to build, my own blockchain specifically for this type of game. And I was looking for investors and developers, and it was just way too big of an undertaking for this whole thing. So I kind of gave up on it. And then I met up with Agrode at some point when he was in the area, and I told him about this whole idea. And he was like, well, let's just do it on Steam. We'll just, figure out how, So I was like, okay. So, we just started building it, and I just kind of figured it out as we went. It turns out it worked very, very well.
Yeah, I remember that we had like the boom or the promotion of Steam Kitties in that time. And after Steam Monsters appears, they all forget about Steam Kitties and they move to Steam Monsters. Yeah. That's great. Okay, so the last thing that you are working on, and I think the most important now, it's steem-engine, yes?
Yeah, so I'm not really doing the direct development on steem-engine because I work mostly on Steam Monsters is my focus, but I'm, kind of managing the project and, just overseeing it, that type of thing. So, I mean, that steem-engine started because Agrode and we wanted to do a security token offering for Steam Monsters to raise money. We didn't want to do an Ethereum or other token. We wanted to use a Steam token. And, a lot of people were doing, kind of their own different token things on Steam. This was, about 10 months ago. And we talked to a bunch of groups that were like, yeah, we're going to build this token thing on Steam, until smart media tokens are available. So we were like, okay, great. We'll just use one of these things. And none of them ever happened. So eventually we were like, okay, let's see if we can do it ourselves. So, again, I didn't have time to develop something. So we found Harpagon, who had built this really impressive system for like a smart contract side chain for Steam. And it was all built and developed and working. It was just not, usable yet. And it was, just software that you would have to run on your own. So we were like, great, let's work together. And then Agrod and I kind of worked with him to make it usable, to make a website, to integrate it into Keychain, to just add in all the features that people need, just starting with basic tokens and then building from there. So so we did that where you could just make basic tokens. And then I was kind of thinking about it. And a lot of people were coming to us. A lot of people were confused. Like, is that SMTs? Can you do the same things as smart media tokens with that? And we just were saying, no, it's different. And it's just simple basic tokens. But so many people were asking about it. And I started thinking, well, could we implement the functionality of smart media tokens with what we have here? And so I started kind of working through it with Harpagon, and we wrote up a spec document for how to build, effectively the smart media token protocol using steem-engine tokens. And that's what's in development right now. And I think that's really exciting because it can give groups that are sitting around waiting for smart media tokens a way to start using them effectively and keep their projects on Steem until the real smart media tokens are available.
Yeah. So what exactly is lacking steem-engine to be like Steem smart media token? Because I don't understand all the details, but what is the thing that difference between simple token that is created on steem-engine and the smart media token?
I mean, literally the only difference once we're done with what we're planning to build is that it's not run, as part of the core Steem blockchain code, right? So you have to run this separate node software to handle steem-engine tokens. That's really at the core of it the only actual difference. Everything else we're building to work effectively the same way. So from a user perspective, everything will be the same. But from a realistic perspective, there's a lot of additional security that comes from being a part of the core Steem blockchain. And it makes it a lot easier for potentially those tokens to get listed on exchanges, because a lot of exchanges are already working, already running Steem nodes. And that would be easier than to get them to run a steem-engine node. So, I think ultimately it's better to have smart media tokens that run natively as part of the core Steem blockchain code. And I'm not trying to compete with that or anything. I'm very excited and hopeful that will happen. All we're trying to do is trying to give people some type of option in the meantime.
Yeah. So people, let's suppose when smart media token will work, what will happen with the Steem engine?
Well, I think, we'll continue to run it. And I think there will be cases where people, some people might want to switch to smart media tokens, and that's totally fine. But there may be some cases where people may choose to continue with steem-engine tokens. One of the main reasons is because we are going to be adding some new and different features to steem-engine that, as far as I know, Steem is not planning to add to smart media tokens. So, if you want to do something a little differently than what smart media tokens allows, steem-engine can be a platform that can be a little more flexible and allow you to do, what you want to do.
Yeah, that's great. So the last question about Steem engine. So how to create a token? I think it's really easy, yes?
Yeah, so you go to steem-engine.com, and there's a create button on the tokens page. You'll need 100 ENG tokens, which we sell for 1 Steem each. So you can just easily click buy and pay Steem and buy those. You can also purchase them on the market for often cheaper than that. But so you just pay the 100 ENG tokens, enter in all your token information, and click create, and then you have your own token.
Yeah, but we have to set supply of tokens.
So there's a few different parameters, and there's a user interface to enter them. So you can put in the token name, you can put in the max supply, you can add an icon and the number of decimal place precision and things like that. That's pretty much it. And now you can enable staking for your tokens. So you can allow people to stake your token like you can stake Steem and Steem Power. and you can set the staking like power down period to whatever length and number of intervals you want. And then, you know, if you want to take it even a step further, you can now use our distribution service that's modeled after Steem and smart media tokens, which is called Scott, SCOT. And again, there's a fee for that, and you enter the information you want for your token, and we can run it that way for you.
Yeah, and you set the price also of the token when you create it.
Well, you don't set a price of it. I mean, you just create the token, and then the price is really up to the market.
Ah, I see.
So, I mean, if you want to sell the token yourself, you can sell it for whatever price you want by just listing it for sale on the marketplace.
Yeah, and how many tokens do you have now?
There's a bunch. There's about maybe 200 tokens on there, but really the vast majority of them are just, you know, people playing around. They're not serious tokens, which is to be expected kind of early on in the lifetime of the platform. But we hope, you know, over time that there's going to be more and more real legitimate projects on there. One that's going to be soon is for Steam Monsters. We're going to be releasing our Dark Energy Crystals token as a Steam Engine token. And I expect that there's going to be pretty significant volume for that one. So that'll be exciting, I think.
Yeah. Do you have also for Steam Monsters a token now?
Well, so we have a number of tokens. I mean, our Steam Monsters team token is that security token that I mentioned. So it's the first security token offering that was done on the Steam platform. It's registered, you know, with the US SEC as a restricted security. And we were able to raise $100,000 from a small group of investors who now are owners of the token. And we also use it to incentivize our team members as like an employee, you know, stock type of program. So that's on steem-engine. And then the booster packs of cards in the games are also tokens on steem-engine. So you can, you know, trade booster packs, unopened packs with other people. And it's cool because I pick up some cheap packs myself through steem-engine sometimes when people are unloading them. And then, like I mentioned, over in the next few weeks, by the end of the month, definitely, we're going to be releasing our kind of in-game currency token called Dark Energy Crystals, which is going to be used, you know, kind of for everything in the game. And I think that's going to be really big as far as, you know, high volume trading volume on the Steem Engine platform.
Yeah, I see that a lot of things are happening in Steem blockchain now.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, let's move to the last question, and tell me, please, what are the tips that you can give to Steemians to improve and to grow?
Sure. I mean, that's a hard question because it's a bit different depending upon what people are doing. But in a general case, I would say it's just really important to learn how everything works. You know, and not just technically, but also socially, like what is, you know, what are the best ways to engage with people? What are the best ways to, you know, what are things you want to avoid doing that would bother people, like spam comments or whatnot. So, yeah, I think you need, if you're serious about, you know, being a part of the Steem platform and, you know, blogging or earning Steem, it's really important to learn both technically and socially, you know, how everything works as much as possible, and that'll make you much more successful than if you don't really learn that stuff.
Yeah, because it's not just a simple social media, but it's more than that.
No, yeah, it's much more.
Much more. Okay, so thank you very much for this interview. I hope to see you in such collaboration maybe after 1 year or more. Maybe you will create something else. Are you planning something else?
I mean, nothing really big. We're just planning to keep building upon and improving what we already have.
Yeah, that's great. And you are already doing really a lot for Steem blockchain.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I appreciate taking the time to interview me. I mean, I don't post a lot as much as I should, so it's good to also do these type of interviews so people know who I am.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for watching.